All right, the Bible wasn't written for worms. You hear me use the word worm a lot, just because it's really a reference to the alimentary, the integumentary canal, basically from mouth to anus is what I'm referring to. On the inside, all of us are the same. We're all just worms surrounded by a very soft exoskeleton of a body. So worm is really, it's better than calling people what I'd like to call them, but I can't on these worm regulated platforms. So today we're going to talk about the Bible was not written for worms. The Bible was not written for worms. Today we're going to be talking about the Bible interpretation from the worm point of view, how it was designed to be interpreted by those who compiled it. And the Library of Alexandria is where the Bible was actually compiled. It was not written there; it was just compiled there, and by multiple scholars. And then we're going to talk about the apex human perspective on the Bible and how we read it, how we interpret it, how we utilize it, because it is a tool. It is a tool for self enrichment and optimization. So the Bible interpretation from the worms. First, let me just talk about what Bible interpretation is, okay? So there are 4 layers to Bible interpretation according to Origin. And this is so beautiful because I actually got this back when I was doing my doctorate. I did this research, got a wonderful book that inspired me to find, to come to this awareness. And if you want to get it, you can read it, Hidden Wisdom, A Guide to Western Inner Tradition by Richard Smalley and Jay Kenny. This is it's a great source. Excuse me, resource. It's a great resource. You need to go to the original source documents. I actually had to find this in Origin, and also in Thomas Aquinas, and I think even Clement and Saint Augustine or Saint Augustine. But anyway, Origin, who lived around the 2nd century A.D., so it was about 1800 years ago. We'll say 17 to 1800 years ago. We'll say 1800 years ago. In the beginning of Christianity, he was one of the founders of our church, of Christianity, the religious path, more or less. He said, very many mistakes have been made because the right method of examining the holy texts has not been discovered by the greater numbers of readers. Talking about the masses. It is their habit to follow the bare letter, or the literalist view of Scripture. Scripture interweaves the imaginary and the historical, with the historical, sometimes introducing what is utterly impossible, sometimes what is possible but never occurred. The Word, in reference to Christ, has done the same with the Gospels and the writings of the apostles. For not even they are purely historical, incidents which never occurred being interwoven in the corporeal sense. And who is so silly as to imagine that God, like a husbandman, planted a garden in Eden eastward and put in it a tree of life which could be seen and felt? If God is also said to walk in the garden in the evening and Adam to hide himself under a tree, I do not suppose that anyone would doubt that these passages, by means of seeming history, though the incidents never occurred, figuratively reveal certain mysteries. Okay, that's a mouthful, but that's Origin, one of the founders of Christianity. Guys, the Bible is not literal. There are a lot of people that want to see a literal Jesus, a literal truth, a literal thing, because it's frightening when you identify yourself as a worm. When you see yourself as weaker than reality, it's scary. Reality is scary. When you think of yourself as weaker than life, weaker than the world, weaker than reality, it's fucking scary. It's scary. And so you got to find something to hold on to for dear life, right? It's scary. But those who compiled the Bible knew better. They knew that the Bible was not literal. There's not this literal sky ghost, sky phantom, walking on literal physical legs like you and I in the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden, according to the wonderful Philo of Alexandria, was an allegorical space. Philo of Alexandria, these are all the things I learned when I was writing my doctorate. So we're going to get into it. So the Bible is written with at least 4 layers of meaning. And if you understand that, drop a like in the comment section. Drop a like, drop a comment. Let's jump in the comment section real quick. Let's say hi to Monica Beatriz Fernandez Britez. Welcome, and hello, Monica. Adam G. Shorts. Hello, Adam. Welcome. Matthew Kidd. Welcome, Matthew. And then Jessica Stardust. I think I've had you before. Okay. I'm smoking the tree of life. All right, girlfriend. All right. And then Matthew Kidd. Have a blessed night. Thank you for joining. Make sure you drop a like before you drop out. All right. So the Bible has at least 4 layers of meaning, according to Origen and other great fathers of the church. And so these are the 4 layers. There's the literal layer, there's the moral layer, there's the allegorical, and then the metaphysical, or the mystical or the unitive layer. False interpretations rely just on the surface, and because the surface feels, safe. It's like, okay, I'm alone in the world. My money's not right. My life's not right. I'm not getting the sex that I want. I'm not getting the food and the life that I want. So let me believe in a sky phantom that's eventually going to save me. And if this life is shit, I'm going to go to a magical heaven in the sky, and then everything's going to be all right. Now, as an apex human, you know better. You know that, of course, we all go back to the Father, the source code. And I've been there, and I'm going to tell you, it's not somewhere where you really want to be all the time, right? It's nice here in the world. So if you do anything you can to make this world as best and as wonderful and as beautiful as you can, fucking do it. All right. And do it harmoniously. So there are 4 layers, and the 4 layers are the literal, the moral, the allegorical, the mystical. So the literal layer is the lowest layer. It's what you teach to children. It's what you teach to adults that lack a basic level of intelligence. They're 30 or 40, 50 years old, and they still think that they're talking snakes and boats full of animals, like all the animals that lived on the earth 6,000 years. Mastodons were still alive. Yeah, they were 6,000 years ago. They went extinct, like I think 2,500 BC or something like that. But even mastodons and mammoths, because they were, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. So there are people that believe that Noah was able to get these wild animals that were killing and ripping each other to shreds on a boat. What was the power of God that did it? It's an allegory, y'all. But anyway. That's the lowest layer. It's it's directed to the senses. It's a physical layer, okay? And the next layer up from there is the moral layer. It's the psychological layer. It's what psychological meaning is. It impels us to to understand the teachings of Scripture, and also to comport ourselves in the world so we don't eat and kill and rape and pillage each other, right? And the next layer deeper is the allegorical level. And this is the apex human level of understanding. In this level, that's where the symbolic meaning of the text begins. All right? That penetrates our unconscious, our subconscious, and finally we get to the deepest level, which is the mystical or the unitive layer. And that's where Scripture actually becomes infused into your very being. And that's the apex human layer. So the allegorical and the mystical layer. Let's jump back in the chat. Strawberry's back. Hey, you've been there. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yes. Strawberry, welcome back. And then Makin. Hello, yo. Welcome. We're talking about biblical interpretation, worm interpretation versus apex human interpretation. And so the surface layers are the moral layer and the literal layer. So an actual boat, actual talking snakes, Jesus actually walking on water, these sorts of things, right? The moral layer is deeper than that. Okay, all these stories to help us be better people, help our psyche to work a little better. But then you get the deeper levels where the adults are, where Paul talks about this is the meat layer. The milk is at the literal layer and the moral layer, but the meat is at the allegorical and the mystical layer. That's where God speaks to the inner self and guides us to all truth. False narratives about the Bible are on the literal layer and the moral layer. Thou shalt not commit adultery. If you commit adultery, you should be stoned. All right. 2 men should not lie together. That's evil and dirty and wrong. Okay, maybe, but perhaps there's an allegorical meaning there, right? Let's go a little deeper, right? Because if we followed the Bible literally, we would stone people for working on Saturday. Okay, everybody works on Saturday. I mean, not everybody. Most people, if they want to grind, they work on Saturday. So we're going to get some rocks and throw them at them until they die? That's what you're supposed to do according to the Old Testament. That's not how it's supposed to be read. But that's how a lot of people read it. And they pick and choose which literal parts they're going to agree with. Let's jump back in the chat. Reply. I already did, dude. All right. So there are four layers. We talked about the first two. The top layer is a lore, the middle, literal and moral, and it actually serves the false elite, the fake elite, the leaders of the worms, the birds who eat the worms and use them for whatever purposes they want, feed them to their children, turn them into slaves and soldiers. Um, but the birds, you got cats, you got birds, you got worms. So apex humans are the cats. Then they're the fake elite. Those are the worms, are the birds, and then you got the worms. All right. So the birds teach people the literal and the moral level. Okay. They know the allegorical level, but they can never get to the mystical layer. Apex humans get to the mystical layer. They know that scripture becomes flesh. It becomes part of their psyche, it becomes part of their nature, it becomes part of what you are. It allows you to walk in the world as a child of the Most High, a son or daughter of God. So the false narratives that are perpetuated by the birds and fed to the worms are things that are literalist and moralistic. All right. And so the literalists and the moralists live at that surface layer. They have the child brain. They use the literal and moral interpretation of the Bible to feel better than worldly, savage, well, worldly people. Savages use the literalist interpretation. And so they use this layer to feel better. Oh, I didn't commit adultery, so I'm a good person. Well, you're still a fucking loser because you haven't had sex with your wife in 8 years. So shut the fuck up. But at least I didn't commit adultery, but you lust after people while you secretly beat off at night. Sorry, I'm going to make these 18 plus. I'm going to leave that out. Sorry, but guys, if you're less than 18, you just get out of here. Okay, sorry about that. But anyway, so the lower interpretation of the Bible is when people use it to boost their morality or their thing. It's like those guys that come up with you, hey, the Bible says that if you're gay, you're going to hell. Society's gone bad because all these people aren't listening to the Bible. And these people, they have shit lives. That's why they waste their days doing that shit. Okay, let's get back in the chat. Okay. Crunch Daniel, you should follow Bible literally. What good is it if everything is up to interpretation of their own feelings? Crunch Daniels, I'm not talking about that level of stupidity, okay? There are people that are so stupid that think, oh, I'll just interpret the Bible whatever way I want. There are rules to interpretation, right? That's where we have people like Philo, who lived during Jesus' lifetime, and Origen, who lived a couple of years after Jesus, well, 100 years after Jesus died, 125 years after he died. They're people that give us the understanding of what the Bible is about, okay? So we're not just willy-nilly reading the Bible however the fuck we want it. But if you're reading it literally, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. I'm going to be straight with you. You can just unsubscribe, you can hate me, I don't give a fuck. Because if you read the Bible literally, now Jesus was right on this. If you look at a woman and you lust after her, you committed adultery, you should be stoned. That's what the Deuteronomical and Levitical laws say. So if you read the Bible literally, you're a child. You're a child. And it's okay for kids to read the Bible literally. It's okay for stupid people to read it. But if you're an apex human, you cannot fucking read the Bible literally. Sorry, Crunch Daniels. I jumped on your case. If you hate me, it is what it is. I just relieved you of all these years of whatever it is that got you thinking you got to read the Bible literally and be an apex human. Worms read it literally. Be a worm. Okay? I'm really dedicated to my path, y'all. Sorry, Crunch Daniels. Not really. All right. So that's the surface level of reading it. If you read the Bible, and there are people that say, "Oh, well, you just can't just read it willy-nilly." Of course you don't. Like you don't read the Bible willy-nilly. Of course you don't. Nobody's that stupid. On the higher levels, you understand. Jesus didn't walk on literal water, right? Like that never happened. That never fucking happened. Because if that was the case, then Peter, who is also Satan, like then Jesus also saved Satan. I mean, like all of this stuff is done mathematically. The Bible is extremely logical when you get past the literal and past the moralistic understanding of it. When you get into the allegorical, you start to see, oh, wait a second. 1 Kings 22:22, Isaiah 22:22. Like there's all these symbols, these structures in the Bible. It was written by an elite, high level, very sophisticated, very civilized group of people. All right. So it was compiled by them. And they changed it so it fit a high narrative for high level people. It's not for the literalists. That's why if you read the Bible literally, your life will fucking suck. Unless your unconscious mind is just Xing out all the literal stuff. Because if you read the Bible literally, you're going to go to jail in like 24 hours. Oh, you're an adulterer. You're going to pick up a rock and hit someone in the head with it. And then you're going to like go buy a person. You're going to sell your daughter into slavery. Like you can't read the Bible literally. If you read it literally, that's why children get to understand the Bible literally. Because they can't do anything. A child can't do anything. A kid can throw a rock at somebody. They got little tiny arms. This is almost only so much damage they can do. So adults have to read the Bible deeper, okay? All right. So the Bible is not to be read at the surface level, but for a lot of people, for the majority of people, they use it to prop themselves up and to stand on a little tiny hill and say, I'm better than you because I didn't have an adultery. I'm better than you because I'm not gay. I'm better than you because I don't have tattoos. No, you're fucking not. Because the people that are committing adultery have wonderful lives and they have tons of money. Not all of them, obviously, duh. But I'm saying, like, there are a lot of people that have a good life. Their kids love them. Their wife loves them. Their wife knows they're fucking somebody else. And guess what? She doesn't give a fuck because all the bills are paid and she can travel to Italy whenever she wants and buy a $10,000 handbag. Like we got to get out of this prison of mind that's got us thinking, oh, well, the pastor said it's Jesus only and it's got to be literal. And then the pastor is touching little boys and then he's telling you to read the Bible fucking literally. We got to get out of that, people. That's the only reason that kind of shit can happen is because people in the pews look up at the pastor who barely went to seminary is fucking all these people on the side, men and women. Trust me, I've seen it. I didn't see it with my own two eyes, but I picked up on it. And so, like, we got to get out of that. That's my soapbox. I'm gonna jump on it. But people use the literal interpretation because they can ensnare people they feel they're better than. When you are better, when you actually are superior, an apex human, you know better. Okay? And this is part of my path. That's why I'm jumping on this bandwagon. I'm jumping on this soapbox. So, we got to get a literal moralistic interpretation of the Bible is used to build glass houses and throw stones at people. Like Jesus said, these fucking Pharisees were trying to stone this woman for being adulterous. And Jesus said, he started writing their sins in the sand. And these bitch ass niggas walked out because he knew what they were doing behind the scenes. And did Jesus judge the woman that was caught in adultery? They dragged her ass out naked and stoned her. What did they do to the guy? Nothing. Nothing. And they were going to kill her. They were going to murder her. And guess what Jesus did? He started writing their sins in the sand. Are you bitches? Yeah, okay. Who's without sin cast the first stone? And the oldest of them had to leave first, all the way down to the youngest. They all left. Sinners. Real sinners. Jesus knew what was up. And then he asked the woman, where are your accusers? She said, I don't know. He said, okay, go. Don't sin anymore. Did Jesus throw a stone at her? Was he reading the Bible literally? He should have picked up a stone and smashed her head in. Not really. I mean, thrown it at her. Because stoning is throwing a stone at someone. Right? Don't take this the wrong way. Right? Jesus knew better. You don't do that. Forgive. Move on. Stop. All right. So don't read the Bible literally if you're an apex human. If you're a worm, get out of here. This is not for you. All right. All right. So, getting back to the nice stuff. The apex human view of the Bible is unitive. It's mystical. It's allegorical. We understand that the Bible is a tool for enhancing your life, for self-optimization. That's the purpose of the Bible. It's here to optimize you as a person, to make you the best person you could ever fucking be. And guess what happens when you're the best person you ever fucking be? You're happy, you're joyful, you're peaceful, you're forgiving. When a worm tries to shit in your face, you say, thank you, and you keep going because they can't hurt you. It's the alignment, the refinement, and the transcendence of the worm life. We all start out as worms. We start out as a little tiny worm. It's called spermatozoa. The difference for apex humans is we grow beyond the worm state. Okay? So I was a worm. We're all worms at some point. And I have worm moments. I'm not gonna lie. But at some point we gotta claim the promise. We gotta live as Christ said for us to live. Jesus was not a pansy. He beat people up. I'm not saying you should do that because it's illegal. You go to jail, you fuck your shit up. Don't do that, okay? But I'm saying back then you could knock a motherfucker out and just keep going. Like that's just how it was back then. It was rough and raw, ramble bramble, fight to the death type stuff. That was first century Judea. Okay, yes, there were laws and rules, but it was Judea. The Romans didn't give a fuck about the Jews. They were just like, whatever. So, Jesus had every once in a while, he had to get into it. Not saying he was always fighting people, but he did at least one time in the book of Mark 11. Just look it up. All right, so Apex Humans read it unitively, allegorically. Like the Bible says in John 1:1, this is life eternal, that they know you, the only true God, Jesus Christ, who thou said, sorry, John 17:3. And so the purpose of the Bible is to enhance your life, to awaken your optimal self, and to cause that energy of the divinity to infuse yourselves. I mean, you're already divine, but to really not just infuse yourself, but shine out into the world to make it a more harmonious, productive, pleasurable, pleasant, powerful place. Okay? The Bible is a tool for self-optimization, self-realization, self-enhancement. The Bible is a tool for optimal connection to the source code, optimal connection to God. It is how we align, refine, and transcend the worm state. It's time for us to live our best lives now, people. You'll notice I'm a lot more caustic than usual. And that's just because I am done with doing what I was taught was right. I'm done with being a nice person. I'm done with being a stupid worm. And we can all, at one point, we can all stop and say, hey, you know what? I could wait until I die and get pie in the sky with a space ghost, or I can get my fucking pie here with a cherry on top of whipped cream. We're all going to go to heaven anyway. And that's just what it is. After this life, we're going back to the Father. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. It's time for us to make our lives good now. And if you've got to go through a little bit of hell, like I'm going through a little bit of hell right now, if you got to go through a little bit of hell, it's worth it. I've done it before. I've died and been reborn so many times in this life. I've died and reincarnated so many times in this life. Not like reincarnated like I was a fucking, I don't know, caterpillar, and then I turned into a toad, and then no. In this life, I've died and been reborn. At 7 years old, I went to sleep. At 21, I woke up. At 33, I woke up again. I've done it so many times. And you've done it many times too. That's why you're here. That's why you're watching this. So make sure you get the Apex Human Prayer Book. It's about having a real fucking relationship with the real fucking creator of the universe, not some pansy ass motherfucking sky ghost that sits around and goes, wait till you come up here. It's going to be great. No. Why would God put you here in the world and give you desires here in the world if you're just going to go to fucking heaven and, let me get to heaven to have some carnal pleasures? Stupid. We can do better, people. All right. So I'm done yelling at people and cussing people out. And that's all I got to say about that. My next video, I'm going to have to make it rated R. I'm going to have to make it 18 plus because I'm going to be talking about sex. And if you're ready to hear that kind of stuff, then make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment below, do all the shit you're supposed to do when you watch YouTube videos. Let me read these last comments. I know I pissed a bunch of people off. Crunch following something blindly like that's leads the problem. All right. Thank you, Strawberry. All right. My kid, bruh. And then Crunch Daniel, dang, bruh. Yeah, it is. I'm not going to apologize. He did. My Ken, you should gaming video. My Ken said you should do gaming video. I don't play video games. This life for me is a video game. I'm trying to beat the fuck out of this goddamn life. And excuse me. I'm trying to beat the shit out of this God blessed life. That's what I'm here to do, is live the best fucking life I was put on this earth to live. Cause look, if I'm fucking wrong and I do go to hell, at least I had heaven here, okay? I'm waging my bets, y'all. I'm joking. I've been to the other side. I've been through the veil, and I know it's great. But I also know, look, I'm fucking here, y'all. We are here, people. Let's make this life great. If you got to take a risk, if you got to break some eggs to make an omelet, we're here in this fucking world, y'all. Let's make the best of this fucking life. If you got to go through a dark night of the soul to get to heaven in this life, fucking do it, okay? Just do it, all right? Jesus wasn't really fully God until he was born as a human. Okay, so let's see what the Crunch Danny. You should pull up with a good reason to even believe for once. You're fired up, but you're just on bullshit with no basis. Yo, man, hey, when I got 12 zeros behind my bank account, I don't want that much money. When I have 8 zeros behind my, when I have 2 commas in my bank account and like 5 different women giving me kids, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm glad I misinterpreted the Bible. I mean, it's not about the carnal pleasures, you know? I mean, look, this is the thing, Crunch Daniels. There are too many people making excuses for being losers. And it's an insult. It's an affront to the creator of the universe who gives us all of these gifts, these talents, these desires, and all this stuff. And let your fucking bitch ass pastor and the stupid motherfuckers who didn't interpret the Bible correctly tell you how to read it. You read the Bible and it says snakes talk. Okay, like go out in the wilderness, go talk to a rattlesnake. Right? We can do better, people. And that's all I'm calling people to do. And I have an intense way of doing it. And look, I used to shame myself for this because my mother shamed me for it, or my society shamed me for it. It wasn't their fucking fault. I could have just been like, yeah, fuck you, mom. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. My sister did that, and she's doing fine. She never said those words because my mom didn't want us cussing, but she did it through her actions. She went for the man that she wanted, went for the life that she wanted, and she fucking got what she wanted. I was being a good boy. Yes, mommy. What do you want me to do, mommy? That's when I was a fucking worm. Reading the Bible the way the suck bitch ass pastors would tell me to read it. Oh, well, when I was in college, I went to a seminary, okay, in undergrad. I didn't take seminary course. I did take seminary courses, but Bible interpretation, stuff like that. It was like prerequisites for whatever. I was going to pre-med. And I talked to the pastors. I was like, why does the Bible say this? In Psalms 82, verse 6, why does it say we are gods? I was trying to meet with the heads of the department, the ones who understood biblical interpretation. These niggas just didn't show up. They just a meeting and just didn't show up. I get it. They're busy. They were probably banging some college student on the side or some young freshman dude or something. Because a lot of that happened at the college, and so they were probably busy getting it right, or maybe they were busy praying to the Lord, whatever. But and there was a lot of hanky panky happening at the college. Come on, y'all. We all knew it. Everybody knew it because it was gospel passing around, and you could see the dirtiness happening, right? And so they were skipping on me in my search to understand God better because they were too busy getting, or whatever, right? And so I really wanted to know, and so I got Ben Yehuda's Hebrew dictionary, and I got all the exegetical texts, and I got them here. Not I didn't have these at the time, but I actually had New Testament interpretation guides, like legitimate scholarly works. I'm not pulling this out of my anus, dude. All right, this is the stuff that I was utilizing, right? And right in here, it tells you a lot of the stuff. Like, you think Daniel wrote the book of Daniel? You think Moses wrote Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy? That's what the pastors tell us. That's what they say from the pulpit, but it's fucking bullshit. They know it. They went to school and they learned this shit and they still teach you. I read Genesis, Exodus, I read Deuteronomy, and it talks about how Moses was buried on this mountain. It's like, wait, Moses wrote this? Moses was fucking dead and then he wrote this? You can't take the Bible literally. You can't read that shit literally. That's what's fucking everybody up. There's so much bullshit in society today. Kids getting hurt and abused. People living dead lives. You go 65 years living your life like shit, having a terrible life, and then waking up one day and being like, "Oh, who was I?" Your job's over. Now you're dead of Alzheimer's 2 years after your retirement. Because so many people have bought into the fucking lies. There's so many fucking lies in society, guys. And it's not society's fault that you buy into it. You choose to. And here I am, the devil, the angel of light, whatever you want to fucking call me, Lucifer, I don't care. Saying, yo, you're not gonna surely die, just eat the fucking fruit. Okay? Guys, like the scholars know this. If your pastor is telling you to read the Bible literally, he's either lying to you or he did not go to seminary. And do you want a doctor working on your body who didn't go to med school? Do you want a pastor teaching you from the pulpit who didn't go to seminary? Isn't your spirit more important than your body? Right? Too many people have bought into the fucking lies, y'all. I'm not pulling this out of my anus. Right? Some of it I am. Admittedly, I won't lie. Some of it I am, because it's not coming out of my anus. It's coming from my spirit. But like, guys, screenshot this. Okay? And then go get this book. It's an expensive scholarly text, right? This is what they use in the seminary. You know, it's not for lay readers. It's like really deep stuff, you know? This is scholarly stuff, man. And I have boxes of those books. When I was getting my doctorate, I had to look at this stuff. And I was like, we've been lying. Like, it's like you go to your doctor, say, hey doctor, I'm addicted to heroin. And then they say, oh, just buy street fentanyl. That'll fix it. That's what the pastors are doing. It's worse. It's insane. And that's why the world hates Christianity. That's why nobody wants to read the Bible. That's why everybody, well, God is a misogynistic, slavery, racist, sexist. No. And even if God was, it's okay. Like anyway. So I've gone on long enough. I need to eat, and let me just read this last comments and get the fuck out of here. Sorry, guys. All right. Strawberry, I'm agnostic, so I'm not sure about this whole creative stuff, but I definitely agree with your approach on life and society. I appreciate you, Strawberry. Thank you. Walk with patience. You Christian, and I mean a follower of Christ? No, I'm not a follower of Christ. I'm sorry, I'm not going to yell at you. Walk with patience. No, I'm not a follower of Christ. I'm his brother. All right. That's the best thing I can say about that. No, I'm not a follower of Christ. We're not here to follow Christ. As Apex Humans, we're here to live the exceptional Apex life, not a follower of Christ. If you're subscribed to my channel because you think I'm a follower of Christ, please go somewhere else. Unsubscribe immediately. Okay? I'm not a follower of Christ. I seek to, and it's not important what I am. If what I'm saying is useful to you, use it. Doesn't fucking matter. I could be a Satanist. It doesn't fucking matter. If what I'm saying, it doesn't matter. If what I'm saying is useful to you, and if it helps your life to become better, and you actually experience God's presence and God's love, God's will love, like, then take it. If not, go the fuck somewhere else. All right. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to call myself a follower of Christ because you got these people like, oh, well, if you say you're a follower of Christ, why are you cussing so much? It's like these people turn Christ into a fucking pansy. I was going to drop another F-bomb, a real F-bomb. They turn Christ into a fucking kindling stick pansy. Okay? Christ was not that. He was real. All right? Next video, I got to make it 18 plus because I'm going to be talking about sex. And I'm going to talk about how to pick the right wife. All right? Women will appreciate it. Because I think women are tired of some bullshit that a lot of us men like engage in. And it's the same kind of pansified, stupid bullshit that you see in the church and in Christianity and all that. And so this video is going to be, it's aimed for men, but women will appreciate it. So I don't know when I'm going to put it out, but it's going to come out at least tonight. Tomorrow's my birthday. So I'll be putting like a bunch of videos out. I don't stop, man. I don't stop until I reach my top. And then when I reach the top, I take a minute, I have some fun, and then I get back in the grind. You know, because look, when I get to my Father in heaven, and when I get to my source, I want him to look at the life he gave me and say, shit, used it all the way up. And give me a high five. Good fucking job. You don't got to go back there. You know how many Christians get to heaven? Hey, God, I did everything you want me to do. And God's like, you bitch, get the fuck out of here. And he sends them back down here to be worms. That's what Jesus said about the talents. I'm over exaggerating, but that's what Jesus said about the talents. The talents. That's the whole thing about the talents. Look up the parable of the talents. There's a guy that was given one talent, and he came back with one talent. His master was like, you bitch. He kicked him out, and I think that he beat the shit out of him. And Jesus was like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, again, don't beat up people. It's illegal, blah, 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 follow the law. But the guy that took the 2 talents and turned them into 4, and then the one that took 3 and turned them into 5, whatever, like, they were the ones that were praised. You given a life. You given 60, it's not 60. Ooh. You given 120 years on this earth as a human. All right. And then you go 60 years, you give it to your boss, whatever, you know, you give 20 years to your parents, you give 40 years to your boss, and then you get 5, 10, 20 years in retirement. You've cursed God. You've cursed God. Last comment, and now I'm gonna get the fuck out. Hate me for saying this, but Jesus Christ loves you, bro. I know Jesus Christ loves me. I don't care about that. This word is dark, evil people. But hey, man, this world is dark. Sorry, I read that wrong. This world is dark, evil people. But hey, man, I'm not gonna go on and blabber more. Jesus loves you, and I love you. God bless and take care. Thank you. Walk with patience. Thank you so much. Walk with patience. You're living the look. You're living the message. All right. Highlight this comment. I'm gonna pin this one. I mean, all of you guys are great, but I'm gonna pin this one, cause, cause, um, cause you are exemplifying a Christ-like life. You're not so much thrown off of your game because of the fire and intensity that I'm bringing to this perspective. And I appreciate you walk with patience. God bless you too. God bless you too. You're walking your path, and that's Apex Humanity. That's Apex Humanity. I have no hate for what you got going on. I just sure as fuck I'm not gonna live. I mean, I don't see this world in the same way, but I'd agree with you in a lot of ways, but I'm just not gonna live a worm life anymore. That's all. I'd rather die than live a worm life. I just want to make sure that when I get done with this life, I've used it up completely. I don't want anything to be left over. I want everything to be used the fuck up. All of my potential, all of my talent, all of my ability. I want it all used up. And in the process, I want to produce more. I want it to grow. Like I want it to go out there and grow and expand and all of that stuff. And that's the whole thing. It's like investment. I will use every single penny I have up, every single last fucking dollar. I will use it up if it's going into something that's going to bring me $1 trillion more dollars, 1 million, 1 billion, whatever. Right? I do that, and I get it. I totally fucking do it, and I get it. And every time I get better, I get richer, I get more powerful, and I get happier. But I also experience darker lows, and that's the thing about being an apex human. It's not perfect. It's not always great and wonderful and peaches and cream. We're walking in a world that can be dark at times. Walk with patience is right. It can be very dark and it can be very evil. And you can get totally fucked by this world. Okay? But this is a world that's made for killers, you know? We're apex humans. Apex predators don't walk around in the jungle and no scratches. You've seen the real lions, real tigers in the jungle. They get scratches. They got chunks missing from their ear. They got, scars and stuff. They're still beautiful. They're still powerful. But, that's the apex life. It's not a road that is free of challenges. It's a real life. But I'm telling you, the rewards you get from living your apex life, living your best life, living as an optimal human, you're going to look back and be like, yo, my younger self couldn't even imagine what I'm doing right now. My younger self could never even imagine this life. And that's what the Apex Human Journey is about. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Walk with Patience. Thank you, Strawberry. Thank you, Crunch Daniels, for letting me insult you. My kin, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Strawberry, Strawberry, Matthew Kid, thanks for joining. Jessica Stargist, thank you again. I'm glad to see you again. Monica, thank you for joining. Y'all be blessed. But really, I really do appreciate you, Strawberry, and Crunch Daniels for just taking my abuse and a walk with patience. Yeah, I appreciate you. Look, I agree with you. Walk with patience. I agree with you. I have no hate for that. And I appreciate the blessings and I receive them, and I know I'm getting them. So God bless you too. God bless you all. Have a good night.